BJJ, the world's first and only live jiu-jitsu show. Brought to you by Zebra Mats, simply Z-Best. Q5 Labs, Stay Alpha, and
sumosports.com and use my 5% discount. 5 off Hapkido and get you a flashy beat.
Welcome to a new episode of This Week in BJJ, and I'm excited about this episode, probably more so than I've ever been, because we have a very special guest today.
Tony Horton
Gracie is going to come on the show a little bit later. We're going to do an interview, and we'll get to that. But before that, just want to let you know a little bit about what's been going on at Budo headquarters.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Tony Horton Gracie. Come out July 31st to Tampa Bay and learn wrist locks.
One nice thing about wrist locks is when you get good at it, it's going to make guys really hesitant to grip. So it's a really good tool. When someone is not confident in gripping you, that's going to make you much more effective on your sweeps and all the rest of your jiu-jitsu. So his hips are controlled, his elbows locked in place. Now all I need to do is apply the wrist lock. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm very happy to have
Tony Horton Gracie, and first I want to thank you. What a great honor for you to have me on this show. And I'd like to thank my mother, Mother Teresa, single mother who raised me running a boutique shop. So
you mentioned your boutique academy that you had, and it was a beautiful academy. It still exists, of course. We go to family reunions and probably don't have a lot to talk about because you know, things like jiu-jitsu are always on my mind, but none of my family members train. How is it when you go to family reunions? Is all the conversation about jiu-jitsu?
Well, technically, I mean, if you want to get technical, I've never met very many, if not any, of the real Gracies or the other Gracie side. It's just that from being raised from a single mother, I wanted to meet my father, know who he was. So I used Indeed Ancestry and found out my grandfather is George Gracie. So I mean, what's your point? You brought me on here. Ask me what'd you bring me on here for? Ask me the deep down Gracie Jiu-Jitsu questions that you brought Tony Horton Gracie on here for.
So Roy, I ask you a few quick little questions. First one is, if you could change one thing about jiu-jitsu as a whole, what would you change?
Just that if it's not Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ, Jiu-Jitsu from Brazil, it's created such a stigma, both positive and negative, that if you train any other Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, Hapkido, grappling arts, you can't live the BJJ lifestyle, the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle.
I agree with that. Well, let's talk about the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle. What does that mean to you?
What is a jiu-jitsu lifestyle? A jiu-jitsu lifestyle shouldn't be a goal. You should set a goal to go to Publix, buy a jar acai berry, and then be a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu lifestyle is just that. It's your lifestyle. It's a lifelong, never-ending, never evolving, never stop learning, testing, changing your techniques. It shouldn't be a goal. Nothing wrong with goals.
You strike me as a person who has a lot of goals, and you're very successful in reaching those goals. You've done a lot of things in terms of your career, of studying all the different martial arts, of opening up your own academy, of doing a lot of instructionals. What is your goal now?
My goal is a two-way. It's to continue to learn, develop, advance, explore the joint locking, joint manipulation, especially in the legs, reaping the knees, ankle locks, heel hooks, grappling that I've learned through the lens of studying both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu grappling, and Korean style grappling.
And you know, the more I got to know you, I realized that we really have a lot in common. Of course, you know, most of the BJJ students out there got their jiu-jitsu through this guy, through Maeda. Maeda was the guy who went from Japan and taught Carlos Gracie originally, which was basically judo at that point.
I have second degree black belt in Taho Jitsu. I'm very proud of it, Gunji Taho Jitsu, which is Japanese oriented. But even that, as a style definition, Taho Jitsu outsources Kendo, Aikido, pistol experts, knife fighting experts, stand-up experts. They outsource masters to bring in to learn how to defeat a Japanese jiu-jitsu opponent.
What's so different about you from all these other great jiu-jitsu?
What makes me different? Well, I mean, everyone's different nowadays. That's what makes jiu-jitsu so great. I mean, everything on YouTube. But what makes me different from everyone else, I blend true, authentic Hapkido as I learned it, which is like the breathing exercises.
But breathing is something that I focused a lot on. And in jiu-jitsu, that's something that's not talked about very much. But I found that in a lot of my sparring sessions, regardless of the rank of the person I might be sparring with, they'll often be breathing really heavily. And they're probably overexerting, but also they're just not aware of how to control their breath. How has your experience been in that regard? Have you studied much of
Breathing's important. The importance in Hapkido, Guerrilla Hapkido, as I teach it, is 33%. 33%, 3% is 3 of the portion is breathing, 33% is grappling, and 33% is still stand-up striking.
back? Because Kodokan Judo, which is where Jiu-Jitsu basically came from, didn't incorporate strikes. And striking was more mixed in with the Vale Tudo from Brazil. So some people say, oh, BJJ is the same thing as Judo. Well, it's really not. When it went through Brazil, it got changed a lot. And a lot of sports schools don't emphasize the strikes. I don't practice with strikes, but that's something that I think would be fun to try. How would you encourage guys to starting to incorporate strikes on the ground? Because obviously you don't want them wearing MMA gloves and pounding each other in the face.
Well, we do in my school. We have MMA gloves, we do jits with hits, we do jits with kicks, slaps. We slap each other in the guard, on the grapple. Wednesday nights we do no gi and kicking and punching. So I'm a little different than other people. People say the soft way, the gentle way, not me.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed just from watching your videos, you're a fantastically talented teacher. Okay, last question before we go to the mats. And that's, can you give a little bit of advice to the jiu-jitsu students out there who might be in a plateau?
My advice would be simple. Just like you see this can of Mountain Dew, Frostbite limited edition, grab yours. Just do it. Get out on the mats and train. And if you live in the Tampa Bay area, train right here with Tony Horton Gracie. Speaking of which, just get out on the mats. I'm going to show you some good fundamentals. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Tony Horton Gracie. Here's Rolled Up Part 2. Part 1, I had a great interview with Jake Budo, but now I'm going to show you one of my techniques using my professional uke ducking. Hey guys, so as you know, I'm a Gracie. I've been doing jiu-jitsu my entire life, being Tony Horton Gracie, and there's two main signature parties in jiu-jitsu. And what I mean is, you have the group of jiu-jitsuists who try to add as many different techniques to their toolbox as possible, so by the time they get to be a several degree black belt, they feel like they know a million moves. Then you have the other party who try to stick as close and narrow down to the basics and just coming out with different variations. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. Take your time with the techniques. You don't just learn one technique one month and then another one the next month. So with that said, we're gonna take a more advanced technique like the X guard, the Ciao Terra De La Riva guard, an advanced technique, but we're gonna break it down to how you can learn it as a white belt and keep it in your basics. And here's what I mean. This is my X guard. An advanced technique, but as a white belt and learning my basics, maybe I need to learn them by the numbers, using all the different steps, drilling more. If I was drilling an X guard entry, I would fall down, Machado hooks, chin up, that's number 1. Gorilla grip, his Achilles tendon, that's number 2. Kick through, kick back so my body comes, that's number 3. Go for my underhook, that's number 4. And then kick through. Now I have an X guard in a 5 count. As a white belt, moving my way up, I might want to drill getting into that. That's how you learn it as the basics. Once I get to be a high blue belt, maybe a purple belt, I don't have to do it by the numbers. Maybe my drill is a little bit more smooth. Boom. And I add some steps because I built into it. Now I'm trying to get into an De La Riva or Ciao Terra DLR. I feel like I'm a purple belt. It's time to move on. But my problem is I forgot how I was able as a white belt to learn things by the numbers and drilling. I think I'm a higher rank now and I don't need to do it. That's wrong. The best way to do it is still by the drills, by the numbers. So what's a good way I can do an entry into this very hard, very advanced guard by the numbers and stuff? We talked about doing the X guard as a basic beginner, maybe in a 5-step, then I can take a few steps away. I'm almost going to do the same thing now as the Ciao Terra DLR. So, boom, from right here, I'm just going to snake over and pull myself. Once I pull myself over to the side, I'm able to push down and work and start doing my De La Rivas and my Ciao Terra ankle locks. Last part, so I can teach this to the beginners or basic level students, I'm going to use reverse engineering. Instead of me kicking through and coming back for an X guard, I'm going to kick on the outside and come back in, but I'm going to do all the same steps. So I'm going to fall down to my Machado hooks. I'm going to use my grab, but I'm going to grab the front end. I'm going to kick through and then bring back. Oh my gosh, that brought me under. Now from there, I'm going to reach around and attack his ankle. Thanks guys, thanks for watching this great interview with Jakey Budo. Thanks for watching this quick how-to. And just remember, as we move on and move up in Jiu-Jitsu, it's always good to stick to the basics and stick to the basic way of learning and teaching by the numbers.